Alright, hello everyone. My name is Vivek and I make videos around Kubernetes containers, Go as a programming language, or software engineering, or about software engineering in general. In this video, we are going to actually Dockerize a particular application that we have written in some of the previous videos. So in some of the previous videos, we have actually implemented a REST API in Go, and in this particular video we are going to containerize that application so that we can deploy it on Kubernetes, right? Because eventually we know that Kubernetes helps us to run containers, right? So we will have to have a container to run it on top of Kubernetes, right? So this is where we left in our last video. So yeah, let's now just go ahead and try to containerize it. Now to make containers, to make container of your code, we will have to use a runtime, I would say. Because not runtime, and utility that can make a Docker, that can make an image, right? And then from that image we are going to create containers. Again, if you are not very familiar with the concept of containers, I have also created another video about containers. Maybe you can have a look into that. But we are going to use, in this particular case, we are going to use Docker. And using Docker we would be creating an image. Again, image is a image is collection of all the files that are required to run your program, right? In very simple ways we can say that. So using Docker we are going to create the image, and then we are going to actually push that image into a hub, in this particular case Docker hub. And then while running that into Kubernetes, you can use that pushed image, right? So to create a Docker image, the first step would be to create a Docker file. So let's just go ahead and create a Docker file, right? Now the path where you create the Docker file is actually important, right? Because when you try to build this, when you try to build the Docker image, you will have to pass the context as well. By default, people use the directory where the Docker file is, right? So in this Docker file, what we are going to have is, we are going to use a base image. Again, I'm not trying to say that this is the ideal way you should containerize your Go application, but this is a way you can do that. And yeah, I mean, we can discuss about the best practices to write Docker files, to create Docker images in another video. So let's just use Go as a base image, and we are going to use the version of Go that we have on our machine, right? So 1.13. So let's just write from, and base image is going to be Go, right? So and the version 1.13. So let's just search for that. And tags, let's just search for tag 1.13. And we want to use, there are different flavors of images. We just want to use this one, right? And here we go. So we now have a base image, and what we can do now is we can specify a work directory. Let's say work directory in our case is going to be home. And then once we have the work directory, we can copy this uh, package that we have, or the code that is required to build the library application. So if we look into our package structure, this is the code that is required, right, to create library binary, this particular binary, right? So yeah, I mean, we are going to copy this entire thing into the work directory that we have. So copy dot slash package to slash home, right? And once we have copied this entire thing, what we actually did in local machine is we built that, right? So let's just do that. Run cd into slash home and go build, and the output file is, let's say, library, right? And this is the exact same command that we ran on our local machine as well. So now that we have the binary created, what we can do is we can just go ahead and, all right, so I mean, we can just go ahead and try to run that, right? So this is, as you can see, cmd takes executable. So our executable is at home and library, right? So when we run a container that is created out of this particular docker file, this is the command that is going to run, and that is the significance of cmd, right? So yeah, I mean, we have a pretty simple Docker file in this particular case. If we want to, if we want to create a Docker image out of this particular Docker file, we can just go ahead and try to do that. Now, again, I would like to emphasize that I'm not saying that this is the ideal way to containerize your application. There are a lot of ways. For example, if you just want this binary in this particular layer or in this particular stage, you can just build the binary, and in the next stage you can just copy that binary, right? Or you can use another version of base image to make your docker image smaller. So yeah, let's, now that we have the docker file created, let's just go ahead and try to build an image, right? So the command to build the image is docker build and tag of the image. So tag of the image is going to be, let's say, library and version 0.1.0. We are going to obviously follow the semantic versioning, and the context that we are passing is the current directory. So let's just wait for this to be completed. This might take some time. So what this particular command is doing, this command is using the docker file that we have here and then creating an image out of it, and later we can create separate containers from that particular image, right? Now this library application that we have, this application actually expects some environment variables as well, right? And we will have to specify those environment variables uh, either from the docker file itself or from the command line while running the docker container, right? So yeah, I mean, I am not doing that as of now. If we encounter some issues while getting this into Kubernetes, we can revisit this particular docker file to change the things. What else? So let me, while the image is being built, let me just go ahead and explain this image that we are building, right, and how it is going to work. So now that we know that we have containerized this particular application, right? So now what we are doing is we are actually building a docker image, and then we are going to push that into a let's say centralized repo, and when we install it on Kubernetes, we can specify that we want to run this particular image, right? So if I just, let's say this is the Docker repo, right? And we have pushed, or we will be pushing, so we will be pushing the Docker image into this Docker repo. And when we try to run our application on Kubernetes, so for example, let's say this is Kubernetes cluster. In this Kubernetes cluster, we would be specifying that we want to get the image from this particular repo, and this is the exact image that we want to run, right? So this particular, here we would actually be specifying where do we want to fetch the image from, right? And yeah, it is taking some time, it looks like. Yeah, and once we have specified the repo and which particular image we want to run, Kubernetes would try to pull that image and it would run that image. We are going to look into that in much more detail in the next videos. So once we have created the once we have created the, hold on, this is the Docker image that we have, and the tag or the name using which we are going to identify that Docker image is library colon 0.1.0, right? But if we want to push this particular image, so we are going to identify that as 10.1.0, right? And this is how it is going to be identified in my local machine. But if we want to push that into a repository, the repository that we are talking about is Docker repository, Docker Hub. So we'll have to specify which particular organization or which particular user's account we should push this image into, right? So for example, in Docker Hub, we have separate organizations, separate users. So we will have to specify which particular user's account we want to push this particular image into, right? So since I want to push this particular Docker image into my Docker Hub's account, what I'm going to do is I'm going to retag it. In very naive words, we can consider retagging as renaming. So we would be renaming this particular image as Vivek Singh ZZITS / library colon 0.1.0, right? And once we have retagged the image, and if we try to push this image, Docker's command line tool would know that we have to push this library image into this particular account that we have, right? So yeah, I mean, this is once the image is built, it is built, we can say here, once the image is built, what we are going to do is we are going to retag as we discussed, right? But before retagging that, what we can do is let's try to run that and see what happens, right? So if we list all the images, Docker images, grep So here we can see the image is built. This is used. We can reduce this using some ways. We can maybe discuss about them in later videos. So we have this image. Let's just go ahead and try to run this. When we use this command docker run, we actually create a container. So we are trying to run library colon 0.1.0, right? And the since our application is running on a specific port, right, so we can specify port as well. So 8080, let's see what happens. So now if I just go ahead and try to curl localhost colon 8080, obviously, so here is the thing. Now after this particular command we have a container running. If I try to list all the containers, we can see that we have this container running, right? And this is the command that is being run, and this is the exact command that we have specified in our docker file, right? And this simply means that this application is going to run, and we are going to, since this application is running on container, right, so to access that code, to make a request to that particular application, we will have to forward the request from localhost to that container, right? So this just specifies that forward localhost port 8080 to container port 8080. And that's why when we try to curl localhost 8080, we got 404, because if you remember from previous videos, we are not listening on this particular endpoint, we are listening on this particular endpoint, right? And here we can see that connection refused because our backend or our application actually tried to talk to the database on localhost colon 3306, and we don't have any application running on this particular host, right? Because this application is running on a container, but our MySQL instance is running on this particular host, and that was the reason our application was not able to connect or communicate to the MySQL instance. So yeah, now that we have the Docker image created successfully, let's just retag that. So docker tag library 10.1.0 to VVIDs, right? And once we have retagged that, we will be able to see that. So here we have the original image that we built, and here is the retagged or tagged version. Now we can just go ahead and try to push it. Right. So yeah, while this image is being pushed into Docker Hub, what we can do is we can just go ahead and try to push our progress into GitHub repository. So obviously we don't want to push this binary, but what we have to do is we have to push the Docker file, right? So git add Docker file, and we can see that the image has already been pushed. So git commit containerize the application using Docker. Okay, and once we have committed the changes, we'll have to actually push the changes into GitHub. So git push right. And once this is done, we can actually go ahead in our GitHub repo, and we can check that the latest changes were pushed. So yeah, we can see here our Docker file, right? So yeah, this was pretty much it about this particular video. So if I try to summarize the things, we just went ahead and tries to dockerize our application that we have already written, and we pushed that image into Docker Hub. In the next video, we are actually going to look into how we can install this application on Kubernetes, right? So yeah, I mean, the motive was to share how we can write an application from scratch, containerize that, and then we can try to deploy that on Kubernetes, right? So yeah, I mean, if you think this is going to be useful, or this would be useful for some of your, let's say, colleagues or classmates, maybe share it with them, and you can uh, try you can consider subscribing. If you want to know more about me, you can visit my website, that is in the description. And that is pretty much it for this particular video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.